And if you don't fight like hell, you're not going to have a country anymore.
Donald Trump's ridiculous decision to file a $10 billion defamation lawsuit against the BBC marks a striking escalation in his long-running confrontation with the press, coming even after a public apology and the resignation of two senior BBC executives. The lawsuit reflects not merely a dispute over journalistic standards, but a broader political strategy, using litigation to intimidate media institutions, dominate headlines, and reshape the boundaries of press freedom. That this case targets a national broadcaster of a close US ally underscores just how audacious the move really is. Incidentally, the BBC's total annual budget is around $5 billion, primarily funded by the British people via an annual license fee. At the centre of the dispute lies an episode of the BBC's documentary series Panorama, examining Trump's political career. The programme included an edited sequence of Trump's January 6, 2021 speech to supporters in Washington, delivered shortly before the storming of the US Capitol. The documentary spliced together two remarks made nearly an hour apart: Trump's suggestion that supporters walk toward the Capitol and his later exhortation that they must fight like hell or risk losing their country.
And we fight like hell. And if you don't fight like hell, you're not going to have a country anymore.
Critics argued that this editing implied a direct call for violence, even though Trump also urged supporters to protest peacefully and patriotically, a phrase omitted from the segment. This kind of editing, though, is normal journalistic practice in the production of newsreel packages, designed to give the viewer a flavour of the event rather than broadcast it in full. This week, Trump went further, now claiming the BBC used AI to put words into his mouth, pivoting his own narrative that he didn't say such terrible things. In one breath, Trump admits what he said was terrible, effectively acknowledging his insightful rhetoric.
I'm suing the BBC for putting words in my mouth, literally. They put words in my mouth. They had me saying things that I never said coming out. I guess they used AI or something. They actually put terrible words in my mouth having to do with January 6th that I didn't say. And the beautiful words that I said, right? The beautiful words, talking about patriotism and all of the good things that I said, they didn't say that, but they put terrible words. They actually have me speaking with words that I never said. And if you don't fight like hell, you're not going to have a country anymore.
Note that the BBC didn't generate any AI content. They merely played Trump's own words in chronological order. There was no Frankensteining of the material. He did say, if you don't fight like hell, you're not going to have a country anymore.
They rigged an election. They rigged it like they've never rigged an election before. And by the way, last night they didn't do a bad job either, if you notice. All of us here today do not want to see our election victory stolen by emboldened radical left Democrats, which is what they're doing, and stolen by the fake news media. That's what they've done and what they're doing. We will never give up. We will never concede. It doesn't happen. You don't concede when there's theft involved. I've been in two elections. I won them both. And the second one, I won much bigger than the first, okay? And I hope Mike is going to do the right thing. I hope so. I hope so. Because if Mike Pence does the right thing, we win the election.
Trump's legal team claims the edit crossed the line into deliberate falsification, portraying him as inciting violence and thereby damaging his reputation ahead of the 2024 election. The lawsuit characterizes the broadcast as malicious, deceptive, and politically motivated, alleging it was part of an effort to undermine Trump's candidacy. Although the BBC quickly acknowledged the edit as a serious error, withdrew the episode, and apologized, Trump pressed forward anyway with litigation. The BBC has signaled it will contest the suit vigorously. In correspondence with Trump's lawyers, the broadcaster emphasized that an apology does not constitute an admission of legal wrongdoing. It also noted the broader context. Trump has already been indicted on criminal charges related to his efforts to overturn the 2020 election, including insightful conduct surrounding January 6. He was even impeached, for goodness sake. From the BBC's perspective, the documentary's interpretation aligns with findings by US judges and congressional investigators who concluded that Trump's rhetoric played a central role in fueling the riot. Legal experts across the political spectrum have expressed skepticism about the lawsuit's merits. Defamation claims brought by public figures face an exceptionally high bar under US law, requiring proof that a defendant knowingly published false information or acted with reckless disregard for the truth. The broadcaster's swift apology and corrective actions may weaken Trump's argument by limiting any demonstrable harm. Jurisdiction poses another major obstacle. The BBC documentary did not air in the United States, and Trump's complaint relies on the claim that some Floridians accessed it via virtual private networks or VPNs. Whether that is sufficient to establish jurisdiction in a Florida court is likely to be a central issue. The requested damages, $10 billion, also appear wildly disproportionate given the uncertain size of any US audience and the BBC's own resources. Yet the weakness of the legal case may be beside the point. In true authoritarian style, Trump has pursued similar lawsuits against the New York Times and the Wall Street Journal, filing each in Florida and accompanying them with aggressive rhetoric about fake news and media corruption. In every instance, the litigation itself has generated significant publicity, allowing Trump to present himself to supporters as a fighter taking on powerful institutions. Media law experts suggest that these lawsuits are less about winning in court than about chilling critical reporting and signaling that adversarial coverage will carry steep costs.
We're gathered together in the heart of our nation's capital for one very, very basic and simple reason: to save our democracy. We want to go back and we want to get this right, because we're going to have somebody in there that should not be in there, and our country will be destroyed, and we're not going to stand for that. And you have to get your people to fight. And if they don't fight, we have to primary the hell out of the ones that don't fight. That election, our election, was over at 10 o'clock in the evening. We're leading Pennsylvania, Michigan, Georgia, by hundreds of thousands of votes. And then late in the evening or early in the morning, boom, these explosions of bullshit. Our media is not free. It's not fair. It suppresses thought. It suppresses speech. And it's become the enemy of the people. It's become the enemy of the people. It's the biggest problem we have in this country.
Free expression organizations have echoed this concern, warning the BBC lawsuit represents an attempt to globalize Trump's domestic campaign against the press. By extending his legal threats beyond US borders, Trump tests whether international media organizations will retreat in the face of financial and political pressure. For commercial US outlets dependent on regulatory goodwill, such pressure has sometimes resulted in settlements and self-censorship. The BBC, however, occupies a different position. As an independent public broadcaster with a global reputation, it is less vulnerable to US political leverage and more capable of defending itself on principle. Its firm response suggests a refusal to accept what critics describe as bullying masquerading as legal redress. Its mistake, however, was to apologize to an autocrat, giving Trump the opportunity to lean in and validate his rhetoric of fake news. Ultimately, the lawsuit illustrates a broader struggle over the role of journalism in democratic societies. While the BBC admits to making an editorial mistake, which may turn out to be their first mistake, a claim that a withdrawn documentary not broadcast in the US constituted a vast conspiracy to subvert American democracy strains credibility.
No third world countries would even attempt to do what we caught them doing. And you'll hear about that in just a few minutes, because you'll never take back our country with weakness. You have to show strength, and you have to be strong. I know that everyone here will soon be marching over to the Capitol building to peacefully and patriotically make your voices heard. Today we will see whether Republicans stand strong for integrity, of our elections, but whether or not they stand strong for our country. Our country has been under siege for a long time.
What remains clear is that Trump's use of the courts has become a powerful political tool, one that threatens to reshape the media landscape not through verdicts, but through fear, reinforcing his dictatorship worldwide.
I'm honest, and I want to thank you.
I'm Anthony Davis. You can find me on the 5 Minute News YouTube channel and podcast, on Wednesdays co-hosting Uncovered, and on Sunday on The Weekend Show with MeidasTouch.
Love this video? Support independent media and unlock exclusive content, ad-free videos, and custom emojis by becoming a paid member of our YouTube channel today. You can also gift memberships to others. Let's keep growing together.